Thank you. And I was just telling Coach Martin, when we got off the plane yesterday and that weather was going sideways, and I didn't get to finish it, I would gladly invited you guys to come on up. We could have played at our place. So, but no, we are thrilled to be here, and I fielded a ton of questions this week about our thoughts on coming down in one of the most storied programs in college baseball, and really the term that comes to mind for me was very simple. We're excited. We're excited for the opportunity. If you followed anything with regard to our program this year, every step we take, every game we play, every pitch that we make past this time is history for our program. We've never advanced beyond a regional format, and I just commented the other day, it kind of dawned on me as I was hitting ground balls yesterday to our guys. I said, geez, we've never practiced this long before. I'm usually off recruiting in an event somewhere. So we're happy to be here. We're thrilled to be here. We think it's a great challenge, and I'm well aware of all the the home records and all that stuff going on. But I think it goes without saying, and I expect to be a good weekend of baseball. Our guys aren't satisfied. I mean, we've set out to one goal in mind, and that's to get to Omaha and do some damage in Omaha. And I think our guys have a great mindset on that. And so when I say we're happy to be here, I'm going to qualify that in a very respectful way. But we are going to compete like we've competed all year, and look at this as a wonderful challenge, but a wonderful opportunity, and hopefully we can give college baseball fans a good show this weekend.
Take questions, please.
To get it out of the way, Ty, I think, was just announced as head coach at Cincinnati. What's that mean to see him get a job, and are you concerned about it being any kind of distraction?
We don't have distractions in our program. And I just saw recently that it was made official by Cincinnati, and actually found out earlier today. But just thrilled for him. I think it's a wonderful time. My father-in-law was a longtime athletic director. And I always remember something he said, there's never good timing when it comes to taking jobs or anything like that. And so and I'm sure Coach Martin would echo my sentiments, you're always encouraging your guys to look on. You're never going to hold them back from an opportunity. So there's no bad timing. It's not a distraction. I can tell you with 100% certainty that Coach Neal's focus is on the remainder of this season, and even kind of drafting the words that we'll in his press release that he will be he may be University of Cincinnati's baseball coach in name today and all of that, but he's still the Indiana University pitching coach and going to carry out his duties the remainder of the way. And he's excited about that, because I think plain and simple, we all coach in this profession, and players in this profession get to this point. You want to be in the College World Series and have a chance to play for a national championship. So in the words of Coach Neal, he's not going to let some silly job get in the way of that. So no, he's excited about it. We're happy for him. Could not be happier for him. He's deserving. University of Cincinnati is going to get a great baseball coach, I can tell you that much. But he's on staff with us, until we finish this thing out, whenever that may be.
Tracy, was it a tough decision with who you're going to start on Saturday, or take us through that?
I always have to. I've had this week so screwed up because I'm always used to saying Friday starter. Right. Not really. We feel like, statistically, you look at Slager's numbers are probably better, but there's so much that goes into decisions on who you start, whether it be controlling the running game, matchups, things like that. I'm not too hung up on who are one or two, or who gets the first one, or who gets the second one. Bottom line is, your first two starters are going to face a formidable opponent either one of those days, and to me, it doesn't really make a difference which one it was. It's just, Joey has been a Friday guy for us for 2.5 years. He's a very competitive kid, a tough kid, loves his mindset. So, we just ran him out there.
What do you think of the guy you're going up against, Luke Weaver?
I've watched a little bit. I've seen some of the televised stuff, and his numbers are outstanding. He's good. He's really good. Got to get it turned up a little bit, get those hands started a little bit earlier. But the good part about I think our schedule this year, we faced, I thought the kid at Florida, Crawford, is very, very similar in terms of stuff, velocity-wise, maybe not body stature, things like that, but We faced, and it's leaving me now, the young man at Louisville, very similar. Someone help me here if you can. First game, but the mid-90s, the good breaking ball, so it's not stuff we haven't seen, but we know you're not going to get a lot of opportunities off of a kid like or a pitcher like that, but we just hope that we can capitalize on that and hopefully it leaves one up here and there.
So you feel like you have to start the offense early?
Rephrase the question.
Start, I guess, getting hits off of him early to really start rattling him?
Well, I hope. Any pitcher, you want to go out there and get your offense going. I don't, and I'll say it now, we're not going to try to be somebody we're not. If we come in here and our philosophy is held pretty true all year, and we think we've got a pretty good offensive lineup, we think we throw the ball pretty well, we're not going to try to do anything differently, so to speak. I think when you start doing that's when you get in trouble. So our philosophy has been, will be, we're going to come in to Florida State, we're going to be Indiana, and at the end of the day, it's either good enough or it's not. And if it's not, so be it. So we're not going to change. And yeah, I'd love to get some hits early. That'd be fantastic.
Coach, how much did that trip to Gainesville do for you guys early?
I thought it was good from a psychological standpoint, maybe more with the younger kids, because you're always battling this thing when you're in the North, particularly in the Big Ten, the perception of baseball that we play. And I won't use this podium today to say that it's good baseball. I understand, why those things are said, but what I think gets lost in that is that, all the things that have to be, weather, early travel, all of that stuff. But that series in particular, it was interesting because we had a lot of kids that played in the Cape this year, and a lot of those kids, in fact, all of our guys that played in the Cape were in the championship series and actually the championship game. So they were pretty confident. What it was good for me is to show some of our younger guys, because you heard our veterans saying, yeah, this guy was out there and this guy. I think it just showed them that you just play baseball, be who you are, don't get caught up in what the other uniform says, all those things. Just play. If you're good, you're good. And but when we came out of that series, I could tell a little bit that, I know Coach has been saying it, and I know Schwarber and Travis have been saying it, but now we see. But it was a good series. It was a good grow-up series, because anytime you went on the road, which we had to do a lot this year, you're happy about that. But I think it helped us.
Speaking of that, obviously going to Louisville as well, that was another turning point series, so to speak, for you guys. What did those series do for you, playing the Louisvilles, playing the Floridas, Illinois as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, you never know when you're setting up your schedule exactly how it's going to shape up to help you, RPI and all of those things, but you try to schedule the best teams you can given budgets and all of those things. So the Louisville series, and I'll share it because it's been well talked about back there, but we kind of identified, and the players identified some goals beginning of the season, and we put them out there, and I don't make them, they do. And I noticed in their top 10 were, win the Louisville, beat Louisville 2 out of 3, so win the series and win the Florida series. And those were clearly important to them. And there's some other ones that we're still yet to accomplish, but I think that meant something to those guys when they saw that on the schedule, and to be able to check those off along the way. Good for them, good for us.
How's it prepared you for the postseason, facing teams like Florida State, like the Valpo?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know I know the Florida thing. I know Florida State plays Florida, but Louisville's as good as any team I've seen in the country, and so I think that's a confidence builder. And answering the initial question, the arms, they throw at you. They got guys throwing 100 miles an hour. So it certainly helps you from the standpoint of you're not trying to convince your guys when you come and you play a Florida State, hey, you can do this. They already know they can do this. So now it's just seizing those opportunities, and I still, it's Tim Corbin to me says one of the greatest things. It's not always the best baseball teams; it's the teams that are playing the best baseball. So we just hope that we're playing good baseball this weekend.
Tracy, when the season began, with all these pieces that you had coming back, did you foresee a season like this, a historical type season?
No. I say no because it was funny. I looked at that schedule, and until you've gone through baseball in the North, it's tough for people to have an idea of what it is, because you can know you have a good baseball team, and you can know that your baseball team's going to be good by this point in the season. And when I looked at that schedule and I saw Louisville and UConn and all these guys early, Florida, I was like, boy, if we could just be, I won't tell you what I said, but this, by the time we get back, I'll be happy with that. Because you know you're gonna go through some growing pains, you gotta try some young guys out. But when we came back at the position we were in, I felt pretty good about it, but did I see all of this stuff? I knew we were capable, but when you haven't done it before, I think people they think, oh, you're just kind of talking in the wind there a little bit. But this team was capable, and I was and I'll just say this, I was really frustrated at the end of last year because we had a lot of the guys that make up the nucleus of our team now are sophomores. Schwarber, Travis, been hitting the middle of the order. And I said it at the time, we lost to Purdue, had a fantastic year up in our neck of the woods last year. There were not 64 teams playing better than Indiana University last year, and I said there's probably not 30 of them playing. I knew we were going to be good, I just didn't know how long it was going to take us. I always say get our sea legs, because we're living in airplanes and hotels and buses for the first 20, 25 games of our season, which is tough to do. But I think it prepares you for stuff like this.
Coach, you're looking forward to seeing how your guys respond to the stage and the atmosphere of the crowd, let's say, this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's a super regional. And I mean this in absolutely zero disrespect to Florida State. I mean, but the crowd piece of it, this has been the interesting piece for me, at least, is the investment in facilities of all the programs around the country. And I can remember bringing a program in here, I can't remember, 2007, I think it was. You know, and those guys were wide-eyed and whatever, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, with Nebraska joining the league, and was the Animals, I think we have the Animals here, is that what they're called? We don't have any animals, but we've played in some pretty hostile environments, and I don't want to get into rating which one is better or which one is worse, but the simple message with our guys, and really as a competitor, if honestly, if you're as a player or you're as a coach, you're worrying about the environment, you're probably not focused on what you should be, which is the baseball game. But I think our guys are going to enjoy it. I think they're going to see it as a fun atmosphere to play. And I had a question today by someone. We were talking about the Big Ten tournament. We played in an unbelievable facility, Target Field. The one thing we were missing was an environment. I think kids would rather play in an environment than a top-notch, beautiful facility. I could be wrong. So I think our guys are excited to play where there's going to be some electricity and some fun. But in terms of am I going to do anything to prepare them or get them ready? We've already done that. I mean, we've been playing for our season in the Nebraska. You know, that series was, they had nice big crowds there. We're playing we're in the game and who executes better. And if you add potential base runners in those scenarios and they don't have to earn those base runners, then I think you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage.
For those of us who haven't seen you guys as much this year, how explosive is the middle of the lineup? I mean, we see the numbers with Schwarber and Travis and all that.
Yeah.
How explosive are those?
They're good. I mean, but pitching neutralizes good hitting any day of the week, I'll still say. But the nice thing about having guys that have that capability, it's like we never feel like we're out of a game because one swing of the bat you're in. I mean, I've had teams where if we don't do it by a certain part of the order, it's like, all right, we've got to wait till those guys come back around. I'll say that they made me a better coach. You know, you have those guys in the middle like that, but it's real. It's not, it's not fake. I mean, these guys are getting it done. They've gotten it done, and as I said earlier, they were successful seasons in the Cape. Scott Donnelly hitting behind, those guys in the middle. He had a tremendous year last summer in the Northwoods League and has carried it over. So it's pretty consistent. We've been pretty consistent all year, but if you get a good pitching performance against you, it neutralizes that. But at least to me, you still have the chance, the opportunity. But I think people are going to appreciate maybe the offensive piece, but I don't. I always say that, and then I lose track of it. Pitchers aren't bad either.
Have the guys been as loose as you were hoping, I guess, coming into this? They've not surprised. This group is just very mature, and I said it to some of the reporters today, earlier. If you watched any of the stuff, when we won the championship, we won the regional, there was no dog pile, there was no gigantic celebration, there was none of that really going on. The guys were casually shaking hands, and I said it from the game one, when we beat Louisville when they were ranked number 4, that bus back to the hotel was like we just lost 10-0. I mean, these guys are very matter of fact. They know what their goal is. They know what they want to accomplish. And so there are times when I'm like, are these guys ready to play? And Skip, we got you. All right, go get them. So I think their mindset is fine, and we go out and lose two, we can go out and win two, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm worried about their attitude. I'm not.
When you get to this point in the season and you're playing teams that you're not familiar with, I mean, how deep can you go in evaluating your opponent?
It's a great point, because even if we do play, and those that have followed our teams are asking questions back home, is I'm not real big on all of that stuff, because this game's been around a long time, the game of baseball, and I still think if you do a few things well and you just focus on who you are, either you're going to be better than your opponent or you're not. And we've watched a little bit of what we've seen on TV. You analyze the numbers and you look at that, but it still comes down to our pitcher making a pitch or their pitcher making a pitch, and all the little individual battles that happen in the game. So we're not going to, and I never have been, we're not going to get totally caught up in trying to neutralize what they're doing. We're going to be who we are, and at the end of the day, if that's not good enough, it's not good enough. So we're going to have confidence in Indiana and just go be Indiana.
Coach, you have a few kids from Florida on your roster. How are you able to, like Nick from Tampa, how are you able to go in and get a guy like that?
Well, my departing assistant coach has done a really good job of recruiting and getting out there, and he saw him and just kind of developing that relationship, and brought Nick up on a nice January day in Bloomington when it was 16 degrees out, and the rest is history.
Real quick, as you brought it back to Ty, I guess how important has he been in building this thing, and how do you replace a guy like that?
Oh, I think it's very important. I mean, all the guys on the staff are important. Ty's a kind of unique bird because he played for me when I was in Miami. He coached with me in Miami. I brought him when I got the job here at Indiana. He knows me. I know him. I don't think you can ever replace somebody like that because of all the unique, unique situation of him being a player and also coaching with me. But I think he's done a good job of making this a better job for somebody else to try to fill his shoes. So we'll take our time and try to get the right person in here that's going to be a good blend with not only me but fit into what we're trying to do at Indiana. But I'm not going to try to replace him. I'm going to have a lot of fun watching him build a program in Cincinnati.
Anybody else?